Hey folks, Tim DeMella. Okay, so I'm not going to make you wait. In the last video, we talked about the 10th step, which was complete. Marry, join together, right? This reminds me of, in the Bible, it reminds me of the book of Revelation. Okay, at the end of the book of Revelation, it says about Mary, the bride, that's waiting for you. Um, in essence, really, the book of Revelation is really the journey that we've been on. It's composed into three parts. The first part is the world, and then what are the people in the world doing um, to make to get out of the world, things that happen in the world. These are the churches in the Bible. It's the first half, first third, and so that first third, it goes up to about the beginning of chapter 4, is really the first stage. It's telling you, it's helping you understand what needs to be done, okay, and what's going to happen. All right. Um, the fourth, what needs to be done and what um, God wants done. Now, it's done in such a way, Revelation. It's done in such a way that it's all hail, brimstone, fire, and all this. But really, what it is it's a minefield of it's like a battlefield of the mind. It's well, okay, so the first part, okay, is what we call stage one. All right, is teaching you. The second part, okay, the middle part, where the Spirit, the presence says, okay, now this is what's going to happen. Come and I'll show you what's going to happen. All right. You're not going through it yet, but I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Okay. Again, this is all part of understand, the fifth step, understand. So the book of Revelation pretty much takes you all the way through and shows you, okay, and all that stuff that's happening in the middle part, the warring and all that and everything, right? That's what's happening in your mind. That's how, because you're getting out of the world. If you come up here, the Spirit says, if you come up here and you do this, take a leap of faith, okay, and go through, face your demons. Face your demons is really what it comes down to. That's what you're doing. You're facing your demons into the second stage with all the emotions and everything, the unknown, the fears. That's what the second stage is all about. Okay? And you're getting rid of your first death, which is your first stage, and so forth. Okay, or your first death, which is the world, and so forth. Okay? Then you're growing up. Okay, so the first is spiritual childhood. The second middle part is spiritual adulthood. Third part is spiritual adolescence. Second part spiritual adolescence. Third part spiritual adulthood. Being genuine, marrying, joining, becoming one. Just like I said in the last video. Okay, and what do you do? What do you do? What's the 11th step? Well, Jesus said in the New Testament, I think it was the book of Matthew, you know, that you're going to be a light, a beacon on the hill. And what does the end of Revelation say? No longer do you need a temple. No longer do you need a place, somewhere to go, because the Spirit and God will be in you now, and you'll be the light. And you'll be the light in itself and irradiate from you. What does that mean? That means that you're authentic. That means you are now a Trinity. Okay. And that means that the next step and the 11th step is in the third stage, which we can call the third heaven if you want, is to deliver you. It is now to deliver you. You joined married with your presence. Okay. That means that you now have confidence. Confidence in who you are. Confidence in who you are. You have the wisdom that I talked about from the 9th step, from the last video. You have that wisdom. You can see things coming from a mile away. You now have confidence within yourself. You have the most bonding power, self-esteem that you can have. Now, go into life, go into wherever you are, and deliver you. Doesn't mean to go and evangelize and everything. I don't know your purpose or whatever. All I know is authentic people don't need to go and evangelize and stuff like that as if they don't, it sounds like they know God in the spirit, but they don't. And it's obvious. Okay, because authentic people will introduce you to your spirit and then get the freak out of the way. They give you the basics, the first stage, and then get the freak out of the way. Remember, in the second stage, when we went to the video of the seventh step, which is the hardest one, I said, okay, get support, true support. Okay, if you have a best friend, support. Okay, who loves you unconditionally, support. Get a therapist, support. Okay, yet don't get these restoration therapists. These work for churches and they have their own beliefs and everything. It depends on the denomination and all that. No. Objective therapy with a person who really loves you and wants the best for you and doesn't have ulterior motives that deal with rules of churches and things like that, or corporations, companies. Like they'll send you to somebody who's in the company, who works for the company. Those people are conditional. Okay, now you have to have a third party, that kind of therapist. Okay, all right. So you need support. You need a lot of support, emotional support, and everything going through that second stage. Okay, so I want to make sure you understood that. But now we are in our 11th step, and this is delivering you. You're authentic. You're confident within yourself. And believe it or not, when you're going about doing your own thing in confidence, you won't believe the amount of people who actually see that, because you're different. You're different than most everybody else because you're confident within yourself. You love yourself. You're confident within yourself. You're not needy. You're not trying to win favor over somebody. You're not trying to manipulate them. You're not aggressive. You're not passive. You are assertive because you stick up for yourself, and you know what, because of the wisdom you have, you can be calm. And everything that's in the New Testament that Jesus was, you are. Because you have the Spirit, which is the Christ Spirit, and the unconditional love, and you're like this with it. So, I mean, and remember, it is the all powerful. It is powerful than anything in the world, and you have joined with it. Now, there you are. Okay? And so, what are you doing? You're delivering you. And you really don't have to make too much of an effort to do it anymore. You don't, like I say, you don't have to get up there and, evangelize. You don't have to get up there and try to convince people of what you want, who you are, or whatever, because you're just authentic. You're honest. This is what I need. This is what I lack. This is my vulnerabilities. You have nothing to hide. You have nothing to hide, because no matter what anybody tries to do, you're going to be okay. In fact, the only thing you fear is death. And you're even more welcoming with it because you know that, like I've said in previous videos, it's not the end. Okay, it's just a continuation of the life that's within you. The body wears out. The spirit, which now you're conscious and the spirit are like this together, it goes wherever it needs to go afterwards. And very happy. And that's what the 11th step is. Just deliver who you are. Just deliver who you are. And you'll end with the patience that you have, knowing that everything will work out just fine, because everything has. And that's the wisdom you have too. You realize that you worried so much over that you didn't need to. So you're just delivering who you are. And you're in relationship with somebody. Now you know how to be in a relationship with somebody because you were in a relationship here. So you went into the third stage. So what's third stage? Think about it. First stage is all about you learning about life. Second stage is you actually entering life with somebody in a personal manner. Okay, which is within you. It's adolescence. It's within you. Okay, but it's a personal within you. So the third is what? Well, some people call it the collective. I call it the community. So what are you doing? You're now going into the community, the body of people out there, and being the authentic you without any apprehension. If anybody asks you a question, you can honestly tell them, because you have the confidence, you have the wisdom, you have the understanding. You're the complete package, and you're human. And that's the big thing, is that you're human, you're human, and you would have never had such power without being human. Because the spirit in you, the presence, doesn't want to be with anybody who's not human and doesn't know they're human. That's why it guides you, so you can realize that in the 8th step of accept. Okay? Because it doesn't want to be. You were created human. It doesn't want to be with anything that isn't human. Okay? That's fake. It doesn't want to be with a fakey thing that says it's following it but doesn't know anything about it, has never followed it, and it knows. It doesn't want to be within anybody like that. Okay? Because you don't want to connect. You're so fearful of connecting, you don't want to connect. It doesn't want to be with anything like that. And it can't be with anything like that. Okay? Because really, it wants to be with somebody who's human, who knows they're human, so they can be humane. They don't want somebody that's not human and will thus be inhumane. Because it tries to take the place of God or whoever, and trying to convince other people of who they are, or their majesty, or whatever you want to call it. It's really sad, ridiculous, and unnatural. In fact, the world you could call is unnatural life, where what we've gone down these steps is called the which I say in one of my previous videos, the evolution of natural life. Evolution of natural life with the Spirit. So you see, in the world, you have, evolution versus creation, right? It's ridiculous because there cannot be one without the other. See, the steps in life, the maturation. There is no life without the Spirit, but yet you can't go through life without evolving, maturing. You see, all of these, I guess what would they call it, dichotomy or something like that, dialectic stuff, they can't happen by themselves. But the world thinks in black and white. It doesn't think in gray. Life's in gray. It doesn't want gray. It wants guarantees. Show me the miracle first. It wants guarantees. It wants to see black and white. Why? Because it's very fearful. It's very fearful. And you can understand why. If you're in a narcissistic family, you come from a narcissistic family, depending on the degree of it, it can make you terrified. I was terrified of real life. I was terrified of taking that leap of faith that I did from the 6 to the 7. It was terrifying. I had to leave it. I followed that voice in me, and it said, leave everybody behind and go out on your own. It was cold, and it's like cold turkey. It was cold turkey. All right, which if you, again, in Revelation, on one of the churches, it says you'll be going through this for 10 days. Well, that's cold turkey. Anybody will tell you that. Okay, so that's all talking about that. Anyway, so the 11th, delivering. Just you're free now. You don't need to take any extra strides, extra strength, anything like that. You did what God asked you to do, and you completed it greatly, and you became the authentic person that God wanted you to be. God created you to be, and you delivered your purpose, and you delivered you. Okay, now I'm delivering me to you through these videos. And why is that? Because in my entire lifetime, I'm not going to meet as many people as I can through this. So I'm showing you me, the authentic me, and what I've learned, and my wisdom, because I really truly believe that what you've learned, what you've gone through, needs to be said. But I'm not making you listen, and I'm just giving you awareness, calling in a sense of, if you're not sure which direction to go and so forth, and you're in the world and you're in misery and you're suffering and even suicidal, now you know the way out. Okay, so and again, I think I said this before, religion isn't bad until you get so deep that the rules and the beliefs of that religion trump any the unconditional love that in expanding those, getting rid of those rules. Because remember, you're not under the roof anymore of your parents as you mature. So you get out of the first stage, now you're getting the second stage. And whoever doesn't want you to go through that and accept, like I'm talking about here, in the presence in you, they do not know God, and that is your proof. They haven't done it themselves, and they're too scared of doing it themselves, and they don't want you to do it, because if they know you, then, oh, who knows what goes on in their minds. Embarrassment, shame, whatever. Okay, that's not on you, though. That's on them. And you can show them this channel, Life Workstation, and say, here you go, Mac, and I'm out of here. And that's why I'm doing this. That's my delivering myself to you. Okay, and to me, it's extremely important, and I think it's what God wanted me to do from the very beginning when He called me, and I listened. And I don't call God a He, by the way. I don't label anything. It's when just God called me. I am not a He or anything. I am Tim. Just call me Tim. Okay, what do I go by? Tim. Well, what pronoun? None. Tim. That's just who I am. Okay? I mean, I didn't pick the name. I could pick any name I want to, but hey, Tim's good. I'm cool with it. So Tim. That's me. And I'm one of 4 billion or 8 billion now. I don't know how many people out there. One of that many people. Unique people. All right. So anyway, there you go. That's the 11th. And then what do you do after the 11th? Well, we'll see. Okay, maybe take some time for me to put that video up because I want to make sure. But, so we'll see. But I know right now you deliver yourself and you're free because you're not concerned with how other people, you're not going to adjust yourself to other people's demands on you that are just not human, not noble. Okay? You're just not going to do it. Right? You know better, and you know what's going to come out of it. You know you're wise. You're wise to it all anyway. So there you go. All right. That's it. So 11th step is called deliver. You deliver the authentic you into the world in a free way. Okay, and you're free. Okay. All right. So I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. All right. Bye.